What I find to be most rewarding about being self-aware and having a relationship with God is that sometimes life's answers find us when we're not even looking for them. Like when we have completely surrendered to whatever it is we're going through, or what we feel like we need clarity on, and we just going about our day to day, and then the answer or something that causes us to pause and reflect, it just smacks us in the face. And that happened to me today. I was working with a client today, and she was talking just about life, and pretty much saying how life has just like not been in her favor for a while now. And she was talking about, everything that was going wrong and how it was impacted her mental health. And she ended all of that by saying, next year has to be my year. And so we went on talking, and at that point my role is to just listen, gather information, and kind of assist her in processing her thoughts, not going in to tell her, you need to do this, you need to whatever. And with that, like, my position is very much, or the position I take in those situations is, I always feel as though when I come into contact with somebody that is struggling in certain areas, it's my responsibility to provide them with some insight based on some of the things that I've experienced. Not completely, you know, sharing everything or every aspect of my experience, but providing them with little nuggets that I've learned along the way. So as we were talking, I offered her, a few things to reflect upon, and we processed them together. One of those things being the idea of, if nothing changes, if nothing changes, which pretty much means, she was saying how next year had to be her year, and, how she didn't want to continue to experience what she was experiencing, which is valid, like, for sure. That's the goal, to always be 1% better, and to be in a position this time next year, where you can look back and say, dang, like, I really made some big changes, and, I really stuck to my goals. And admittedly, that has been something that I have struggled with. Like, I definitely made progress this year. I'm definitely happy about some of the progress that I made. But I'm gonna tell y'all what I came across most recently that really made me take a step back and be like, yo, like, you pray for certain things, and you set certain goals, but are you really sticking to the plan like you think you are? So I told this story before. This year last time I was dating a guy, and I don't want to use the word dating. I was talking to a guy, and he found out that a G-Wagon was my dream car, and he pretty much was like, let's go buy you one. At the time, I was like, no, no, thank you, because I come from the mind frame, or at least back then, that I never wanted a man to buy me anything of that sort if I couldn't maintenance it, if I couldn't pay for it myself, like if I couldn't really take on that responsibility myself. So what I had done is I said, you know what, I don't want you to buy it for me, but what I'm going to do is set a goal. I'm going to put a date in my phone, and this year next time, I'm going to be going to the lot to pick up the G-Wagon that I have custom built, paid for, all of that. And I put the date in my phone. It would have been December the 23rd of this year. So we had started talking, he was going to add on to the garage to make sure I had space to put it in, like bells and whistles, like the plan was in place. And I was going through my phone, like I said, I think it was a few days ago, maybe last week, and I saw that date, and I was like, damn, Trees, like, you ain't stick to the plan. And it really made me have to take a look at myself and say, yo, what is it that you did not do this year that you anticipated doing this year that would have set you up in the way that you want to be set up to go and make a purchase like that? Look, I've made mistakes in the past in terms of not understanding that it is a difference between being able to buy something and being able to afford something. I think it was Jay-Z that said, if you can't buy something more than 2, 3, 4 times, like, you can't afford it. And that's really something that I have taken with me, or learned to take with me, in terms of learning more about like managing my finances. And side note, we got a new video of a new episode of Our Hyphen coming out tomorrow, and I talk about that a little bit, how I was so spoiled coming up that it has not been until recently, like within the last 2 or 3 years, that I have really like started to learn about managing my money and finances and making smart financial decisions. And so in terms of my conversation, going back to my conversation with the woman today, I thought about that again. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So this time last year, I didn't feel like I wasn't in a position to go build a G-Wagon and cash out on it. And almost a year later, like, I'm still not at a place where I can do that. I'm still not at a place, where I have things set up in a way that would allow me to do that. And so, like I said, it prompted me to reflect and hold myself accountable in a way to say, Trees, you ain't stick to the plan. You did not stick to the plan. So, you can't have a woe is me mentality, which I don't. I'm just saying this in terms of, at one time in my life, I would have done that. I would have looked at that date and be like, oh my God, like, God, I do this right and I do that and I tithe and da-da-da. Like, why is it that you still aren't putting me in a position? No, this is a me thing. God has given me the vision of, certain things that I need to do, I should be doing, to then set me up in a way that I need to be able to purchase my G-Wagon. Like, I have the plan. The plan is so freaking crystal clear. But again, it has been something that I have chosen not to make a priority in my life. So I take like full responsibility for that. And every time, like, I think I talked about this before, like, I've even tried to find workarounds, like, say, oh, this is a bit of a challenge, like, let me just do this and, set this up this way. And like, God has been very clear with me that I am not going to have access to certain things that I want until I really put my gifts into play. And like I said, I've done some of that this year with the podcast. That was one of the things that I felt strongly about, but it's something else. It's something that I started like having, it was dropped in my lap maybe 2 years ago. Like, I had the LLC for it. I have certain things set up for it, but I still have not pushed this brand in the way that I know I need to. And some people watching already know what the heck I'm talking about. Like, that's the crazy thing about it. I have had dates in place. I have had samples in my hand. And I will say that, like, this time last year, I like things were really moving in the direction that they needed to. And then I got discouraged because I had got a sample back. I was in a time crunch because of a release date that I had set. Like, it got to the point where I called myself taking a step back, and the step back turned into, here we are a year later, and it's still not done. And I met with a spiritual advisor, was that last year or this year? And he told me, like, he literally looked me in my face and said, everything that you need in this life, all of the things that are like meant for you, are going to come from your mouth. Meaning, the things that you say, the gift of me using my words and educating people and teaching people about life, like, that is how my worldly abundance is going to come forth. I've always known that. It's not the first time I've heard it. And so in that case, like, I'm stopping me. And then the second point that I gave to her today was, you have to choose your heart. And what I mean by that is, I think I would be remiss to use something like a luxury item, like saying not being able to buy a G-Wagon, as something that is hard or like detrimental. So let's say something like, I don't know. Okay, losing weight, like managing weight, eating healthy. Y'all saw I posted 2 hot dogs on my story today, and I had 2 last night. So I went from not eating meat to now eating hot dogs. Like, that's insane. So choosing my heart. I know how hard it was to, lose weight and to get to a point where I'm confident in my body. I feel good. I look good. That was hard as hell. So now the new choosing my heart is, hey, Trish, you want to keep eating crazy? Or you want to choose the heart that comes with meal prepping, making sure you're back in the gym? That's hard, but that is a heart that is a heart in the right direction, a heart in the direction of, you know, where I want to continue to be in terms of my health and my weight and, my self-confidence. Um, and I don't know, life just boils down to things like making things that simple. Like, yeah, it is hard to wait till I get home. If I got an hour drive home from somewhere, to wait to get home to meal prep and then eat something healthy. Like, yeah, that's hard. But what's even more difficult is gaining weight again and then having to lose it and all that comes with that. So I'm just here to encourage you all to, one, be self-aware, to take accountability for areas in which you could have done better or you can do better in life, and apply yourself. This is the perfect time. I've been saying it for a couple months now. Like, I've been preparing for the new year, whether it be mentally, writing down my goals for the year, writing down the execution plan. That's one of the things. I know my girl Sade had said that she wanted to do another gratitude challenge, but we have to do the gratitude challenge because, like I said, that was something I was praying on, and then she confirmed it. But it's also another challenge that I really want us to do, that we're gonna do. Nope, that we're gonna do, in terms of identifying some of our areas for growth going into this new year. So, just take this time to reevaluate maybe what some of your goals coming into 2023 were, and ways in which you haven't fully executed those goals, the why behind it. And for me, my why